Glad to have you join us on this edition of the show. My guest is working hard to increase the adoption of the blockchain technology in Africa, and he joins me on the show to discuss issues around the industry and how Africa can make the most of it. This and more coming up right after some news and updates. I am Chukwuemeka Agbata. Welcome to Tech Trends.
Inexpensive phones and pay-as-you-go services are already spreading mobile phone technology to many parts of that world that never had a wired infrastructure.
My name is Ayolugude, and I run TheraConnect and the Autism Awareness Foundation.
Omotoke Olugbode is a teacher and inclusive education advocate who is working to bring therapy closer to children living with disabilities, especially autism spectrum disorders. Her drive to develop a platform that connects parents of children with special needs to therapists was born out of her passion to provide every child with quality education, irrespective of their disability, mental health, and socio-economic background.
I actually read the story of a mother who has a child with autism, and she was struggling. And it dawned on me at that moment that if we have a parent who is living in the US and they are still struggling with this, then I'm quite sure that we have parents here in Nigeria who do not even know that this is what their child has, because autism has no physical features. And so many times, these children go undiagnosed, unassessed, till they become adults. And that was the first thing that struck me about it.
While experts say there is currently no cure for autism spectrum disorder, interventions such as applied behavioral analysis therapy are important to help such persons improve their everyday skills, which allows them to become more independent. To promote the inclusion of children with special needs and without creating another center for such children, Toke decided to develop TheraConnect to make therapy easily accessible.
TheraConnect is an online mobile platform that connects parents that have children with disability to therapists that are very close to their location. So you set up your profile as a parent, you set up the profile of your child, and then you request for a therapist. Our therapists are certified therapists that will be onboarded on the platform. We'll also be pairing therapists with you based on your location. So if you set up your location as Yaba, you will get therapists within Yaba. If you set up your location as Gigondo, you will get therapists within that location.
Omotoke says she's working with her team to develop a USSD code to make it easier for parents that are not technologically inclined to get the required services for their children. When Kehinde Osakede's university closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic last year, the visual arts students returned home to Lagos. A visit to a family friend nearby turned into a horrific ordeal. The friend began touching her, she said, and became violent when she asked him to stop. He then raped her, she said.
I was just trying my best. The more the guy was hitting me, beating me, he just fling anywhere like.
According to police and officials, Osakede is one of hundreds of women across Nigeria who have reported being raped or sexually assaulted in a surge since the pandemic began. In northern Kano State, tech entrepreneur Sadat Aliyu in August launched an app, Helpio, for women to report assaults. She said it's matched users with organizations who help them approach the police.
Organizations are fighting for the rights of those that were raped. So I said, okay, maybe I will create a platform where people can be able to access this kind of organizations. So I finished drafting everything, but I didn't start the development until I think 1 month before I even started it. I noticed that this is not only about women, children also fall into this case. So that is when I said I need to quickly finish up this stuff. So that is when and then the coronavirus happened, and then I got a lot of time on my plate. Then I just deep dive into it.
The Help Yo app allows individuals report cases of sexual abuse or interact with an expert for counseling or advice.
I'm planning to create a sensitization where we can reach out to local, district heads, where we can be able to have an audience with them so that we can talk to the people in the area, that we can talk to about the application so that they can understand it, because most people might not find it useful until we do that. So this is the plans actually, to reach out to local district heads, to talk to them, to give us the people maybe that we can be able to talk to, parents and other guardians that we can talk to about the application, so that we can share the awareness, not just online, because online there are people that are not online.
The application works simply.
So after you sign in, so you're going to see a tips on, do you know something, maybe what is rape, so that people that don't know what is, even to understand about rape and so many details about it, they can go to the first, and then you can be able to report the abuse. So we're trying to have this. If someone is it's an emergency, they can be able to. They can be able to call this emergency line, or they can be able to just report. This is the report form, and it will be taken to the organization.
Although the application is designed to report rape cases in 2 languages, English and Hausa, Sadatu says more Nigerian languages are in the works to enable people to have access to the app, regardless of their level of education.
These victims don't know don't even know that there are lots of organizations that actually fight for their right to see that they get this justice or get legal support or even financial support. So with this application, I want to make it to connect these victims to this organization so that they can have easy access to legal support.
Osakede says she has stopped blaming herself with the help of counseling and wants others to take courage from her story. Kenya has been coping with the new normal brought by the restrictions of COVID-19 pandemic, in which internet connectivity has become a pivotal part of restructuring studies, routine work schedules, and business operations. The implementation of health safety measures, including stay-home orders and curfews to curb the spread of the disease, have made the internet and its related technologies the essential tools in people's daily life.
Life is actually moving to the internet. The internet has libraries. The internet is where academia is operating. The internet is where dating is happening. The internet is where finance is, and business is, and governments are actually on the internet. And so the internet is the new city. It has everything. And this pandemic has further pushed us deeper into the internet, making us more of an interconnected community.
During this special period, Kenya has witnessed several positive developments from the telecom sector. One of the mobile network operators, TheraConnect, has doubled the speed of its mobile internet bundles for subscribers, whose lives are becoming more and more dependent on the invisible community.
The truth of the matter is, in a pandemic like this, a lot of things shift. Money shifts, economic formations shift, alliances shift. That is the reality of a crisis, that they not only affect, for example, in this case, your health, they affect your economy, and they affect who holds economic power.
With the surge in e-commerce sales, the Kenyan government capitalized on the trend by introducing digital tax measures. The Kenya's 2020 Finance Bill applies to online trading activities related to mobile applications, software, and websites. According to the bill, the taxable items include e-books, e-learning courses, digital content in audio or visual formats, the provision of services including the trade, share, and storage of data is subject to the bill. Is your Gmail full? Well, here are some handy solutions for you to manage your emails better. Clean your Google Drive and photos. By default, Google gives free 15GB storage to Gmail users, but this storage is shared among various Google services, most importantly Google Drive and the photos. Now, if you're running out of storage for mails, one of the best ways to free up some extra space is by checking how much of it is being used by Google Drive and Google Photos. If there are large files in your photos at Google Drive, delete them if you can. That will free up the space for emails. Find and delete big emails. In most cases, your emails are likely to be small, like 50 kilobytes small. But over the period of time, you also accumulate big emails. The trick to reclaim space in the Gmail is to delete these particular emails. Now, how do you do that? In the email search bar, write larger:20M. With this, you are telling the Gmail to find emails that are larger than 20 megabytes in size. You can pick any size that you want, 5 MB, 1 MB, 10 MB. This will give you all the large emails that you have in your inbox. You can then delete all or some of them to free up significant space in the inbox. Empty updates and promotions. Google Gmail has tabs for quite some time now. Of these tabs, inbox is the primary area where all your important emails come. But then there are also updates where LinkedIn emails enter, and promotions where you get emails from your banks. Most of the time, these are useless emails. When you're running low on space, you can safely delete them. Find old emails. If you don't want old emails clogging your mailbox, just search for them. Again, the trick is same. Go to the email search bar and type older_than:1Y or something similar. Once you have the mail sorted, delete the ones that you want. Buy some space. If you're a power user of Gmail, it makes sense to buy extra storage. This is easy and hassle-free, but also a lazy solution to the Gmail problem.
Next is my chat with Idowu Akinde, who is the Africa chapter lead of Hyperledger. Stay with us.
Over the past few years, the term blockchain has become one of the regularly used words in the fintech space. This is a reflection of the emergence of blockchain-driven solutions, companies and initiatives being adopted in different parts of the African continent. Blockchain technology is defined as an open and distributed ledger system that can document transactions between two parties. These transactions are efficiently and verifiably recorded permanently and shared by several participants in the blockchain system without full control of a single entity. Africa is increasingly advancing socio-economic growth through the adoption of blockchain technologies for e-commerce and entrepreneurship frameworks. And this is because such technologies are offering multiple advantages towards easing the way of doing business transactions across the continent. Blockchain technology can support Africa's financial digitalization, and this digital revolution can rescue numerous African economies. However, some African governments are still hesitant about fully adopting and adapting blockchain technologies. Idowu Akinde, the Africa chapter lead of Hyperledger, discusses how we can maximize the potential of this technology.
Hey Idowu, glad to have you on Tech Trends today.
Thank you so much, CFA. It's always a pleasure.
Now, there is this sort of confusion or maybe misunderstanding. People refer to crypto as blockchain, blockchain as crypto. Please tell us, what is the difference?
All right. That's the million-dollar question, okay? And I get that question very, very often from family, friends, former colleagues, present colleagues. Many times people use the words interchangeably. Well, the reality is that it just so happened that cryptocurrency was the first implementation or use case of blockchain. So cryptocurrency is technically speaking not equal to blockchain, and blockchain is technically speaking not equal to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is one way of applying the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is the foundation, is the technology behind cryptocurrency and many other things. Okay, so if you think of it, one good mass market, easy to understand illustration is to think about our mobile phones. Whether you're the Android type or you're the iOS type, our smartphones have an operating system. And then we have apps that we download from the stores onto those operating systems. Think of blockchain as the operating system, whether it's iOS or Google Play or Android, okay? And then cryptocurrency is the first app that you downloaded onto your OS. You can have 100 other apps that are built on blockchain that are not related to cryptocurrency. There's all sorts of applications for blockchain. So that, I think, is a good way to.
All right, Nigeria, just like Africa, is facing a number of challenges. So give us examples of some use cases of how blockchain can make a difference.
Blockchain confers 3 advantages to any type of situation that you introduce to it. 1, it gives you increased trust. 2, it gives you increased transparency. And 3, it gives you the ability to query the history, right, of any particular item or record through its milestones, okay? If you think about that, that sounds perfect for logistics and supply chain. So the most obvious, in fact, it's not just in Africa, it's all over the world. The poster child of blockchain implementation so far has been the logistics and supply chain industry. And there are quite a number of them all over the continent. More popular around South Africa and in North Africa. But that's the poster child. Moving slightly away from that, you now start to see things like, if you think about it, trust, transparency, what you call traceability. What about credential management? So you have things like educational credentials and or, as people are talking about now, COVID-19 vaccination credentials, okay? And so on and so forth. So that's education/immigration. Now think about even finance, insurance. Traditionally, insurance providers are always in dispute with the people who make claims, because, hey, there's a possibility that people can make fraudulent claims. But if those things are on a blockchain and the conditions are satisfied, then claims can be automatically disbursed. Insurance. Know your customer in banking and financial services. The opportunities are almost endless, But again, think about situations where are the parties naturally distrustful of one another, and therefore there is some need for a technology that introduces trust, transparency, and traceability.
And then what would you say about the Nigerian government? Are they trying hard enough to understand this technology and how to make the best of it for the country?
So you know that there's no way to be polite about that. The sound bites that are coming out of the Nigerian government concerning the blockchain space are not encouraging at all, especially given the huge potential for blockchain to resolve many of the trust issues that exist, first of all, between government agencies, second, between government and the citizenry, third, between even citizen agencies or citizen organizations. So it's like a massive virgin land that is just waiting to be exploited. And it's really, like I said, there's no polite way to say it. It's really, really disheartening. The current position.
Okay, I hear you. Blockchain is amazing. It's awesome. It's nice. It's great. It will change Africa. But is there anything we should be worried about, especially when you can have both the public blockchain and the private blockchain?
Okay. All right. So technically speaking, not really. Okay. Without taking us on a long history lesson, right? The blockchain industry, if I may use that word very loosely, started with the public blockchains, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the likes, right? And the first iteration of blockchains that were created in such a way that all of the information that needs to be stored within those networks, those decentralized networks, is available to the general public. That is the first definition and the first type of blockchain that was created. Now, that got a lot of public adoption and appeal, right? Because, hey, if you can make things democratic for everybody, it has a lot of appeal. However, some of the organizations like banks and other enterprises saw that there's a lot of value in this kind of ability to share data or information. However, it's not everything that is in every network or system of record that needs to be public to everybody. So they came up with something called the private blockchains. The private blockchains are things where, for instance, in a supply chain network, you don't need to, as a public member of the, as a member of the public, doesn't need to know everything that's going on in every port in Nigeria and in every shipping line and in every customs office. But there are certain bits that are redacted and others that are not. So striking the balance between those things and knowing where the balance between the nature of the private data to be protected and the public data to be exposed is a fine art.
So would you place your bets on the possibility of blockchain helping to transform not just Nigeria but Africa? Would you place your bet on that possibility?
I actually have placed that bet already.
Okay, so what are some of the startups that you know that are trying to do things around the blockchain industry?
Awesome. So there's Cubitex, right? Coincidentally, I met them in FI, and I'm working with them to help them transition from a less mature blockchain framework to something more mature, aka Hyperledger. There is House Africa, which is also doing something very, very fantastic in the real estate space, property tech space, to increase the confidence of both the public and the private sectors in real estate properties. They are also adopting Hyperledger for that. Beyond Nigeria, there is this startup in South Africa that is also doing fantastically well. They're an insurtech startup, and they're those successful.
Yeah, but at least what gives me joy is that, these are not cryptocurrency-based startups, because, when people talk about blockchain, it's all about crypto, and like we all know, crypto may have had the first start, but crypto is not just about blockchain. Okay, so thank you for being on the show today. This is where we'll draw the curtain. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, CFA. Always a pleasure.
As you've heard from Idowu Akinde, Africa chapter lead of Hyperledger, blockchain continues to evolve, and forward-looking governments and businesses are taking advantage of it. Thankfully, there are more use cases of the blockchain technology beyond the rise in cryptocurrencies, which is certainly a welcome development, but the technology can offer much more. Let's hope that Africa would fully maximize technology and make life on the continent much better. It's a wrap on this edition of the show, but the conversation continues online. Join us on social media. Remember, you can watch the entire show on Channels TV, YouTube, or by checking out cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.